Digital Education for All: Development of Technology-Enhanced Learning for Unemployed Persons. The content of this publication reflects the views only of the author, and Commission cannot be held responsible for any use which may be made of the information contained therein. How to look for a job via the Internet. Croatian Employment Service. Introduction. Characteristics of the labor market. Measures to encourage employment. URIs. Online job search. Electronic communication in job search. How to protect yourself in the online job search, and conclusion. Chapter 1. Introduction. Looking for a job is not an incidental activity, but requires full engagement. You have to come up with a plan of action and spend full time every day implementing the plan and coming up with new ways to find the job you want and deserve. Active job search implies skills that are used when planning activities related to searching for and creating professional opportunities. In example, information and continuous monitoring of job vacancies and improvement of job search techniques. The active job search plan begins with the decision that we want to work and that we will actively work to achieve our goal, to find a job that will match our needs, knowledge and skills and the needs of the employer. To set a goal, it is important to make yourself aware of what you want and can do. In the beginning, you need to ask yourself the following questions. Do I want to actively look for a job? What have I been doing so far? What do I want to do? Do I have the knowledge and skills for the job? Is there anything else I need to learn? If you answer positively that you actively want to look for a job, you have the option of using the services of employment agencies, both public and private, or working on it yourself. In any case, it is necessary to make a job search plan that should contain basic information about the following things. What jobs can I do? What jobs have I done so far, regardless of their nature, registered or unregistered, student jobs, volunteering? What jobs would I longer like to do? What jobs would I really like to do? Where can I find such jobs? Your employment counselor can help you in creating a job search plan. And if you need additional help in assessing your knowledge and skills, additional education or retraining in creating a job search plan, a professional guidance counselor can also help you with that. Consider what knowledge, skills, and experience you have. Those acquired through previous education, acquired in previous jobs, acquired on various courses, foreign languages, informatics, driving tests, etc. So, are there options to acquire the knowledge needed for the desired jobs? Nowadays, there are many options for acquiring new qualifications live and online, and this platform and the courses on it are one of those sources. In general, when we talk about learning, it should be emphasized that the learning and education do not end at the end of high school or college, in example, with obtaining a certificate or diploma, but lasts a lifetime. Investing in additional education is necessary in this day and age. The market is constantly changing and the needs are not in line with what we receive or receive during formal education. This is why we often attend additional courses and/or education. This where we often encounter difficulties. Price. Courses, education, and workshops are very often expensive, even when it comes to one-day workshops on so-called soft skills, which can cost up to several hundred euros. Second difficulty can be time. Takes up a lot of time in the already busy schedule in our lives. And the third type of difficulty is venue. We often come across a course or education that is very interesting to us, but it is not available in our place of residence. The way and the solution we can overcome all these difficulties is the internet. That is online education and courses. The internet abounds with various opportunities for cheap or completely free education. Most often only the certificate is paid for. Here are the 10 reasons for online education. First, choice. Online education offers you a choice of programs that may not be available in Croatia: IT sector, foreign languages, art, history, or human rights. The other is flexibility. You can study and follow lectures, view video content when, where, and as suits you. An opportunity to expand the network of acquaintances. In this part, it can also lead to business contacts. You determine the learning pace for yourself. Flexible schedule. Next reason is saving of the money. Prices are much lower than standard school fees, and most often the education is free and the only certificate is paid for. Also, you can work or study from home or any place that suits you. Lecturers from all over the world, often eminent names in their fields. Different methods of testing and evaluating. What has been learned, which you can usually determine for yourself or self-evaluate. And the last reason is effectiveness. Research shows that participants in online education perform better than their counterparts in the traditional classroom. An opportunity to update your resume is also one of the reasons for the online learning. The internet abounds with the opportunities for low-cost or even completely free education. One of the more recent such options is massive open online courses, or MOOCs for short. It is a form of education that has been embraced by all those who cannot afford expensive universities or simply do not have time for them and want to acquire an education in a way close to schooling at colleges. Educational platforms specialized in MOOCs are Coursera, Udacity, and edX. In addition to online learning, education options, of course, some courses fall under the so-called classical learning, which means you would be learning new skills in a classroom location. Like online learning, the classic method has its advantages and disadvantages. The most common disadvantage is the price of the courses, so it's good to ask about the possibilities that are offered in your area. For example, in the Republic of Croatia, through measures to encourage employment, the government offers numerous opportunities for education and training at the workplace, as well as learning new skills through education vouchers for acquiring micro-qualifications in green and digital skills. In order to create a job search action plan, while being aware of your knowledge and the desired direction in your job search, it is important to be aware of your values as well, and qualities that could benefit you in a certain workplace: accuracy, meticulousness, tendency to work in a team, or individuality. To conclude, the development and familiarization of active job search methods and techniques implies learning to plan activities when looking for a job, self-information and information, continuous monitoring of job vacancies, and improving career management skills. Chapter 2: Characteristics of the labor market. The labor market can be defined as the area within which employers recruit workers and workers are employed. According to the definition of the labor market, employers and workers cooperate together for mutual benefit, which should optimally meet their needs. Characteristics of the global labor market. New technologies lead to an increased demand for highly skilled workers. Creation of new jobs due to increasing use of renewable energy sources and strengthening of the low-carbon technology sector, or green jobs. Focus on lifelong development of competences. Increased demand for transversal core competencies. Emphasized need for worker mobility. Flexicurity, a strategy that includes a new approach to the workplace and employment, transition from secure workplace to secure employability. Gender equality and principle of fairness. You can inquire about the characteristics of the local labor market, in example, the supply and demand for jobs, at the competent office of the employment office. Statistical offices or the media where they occasionally provide information about what is required on the labor market. Across Europe, changes in the demographic structure and the environment create long-term need for certain types of occupations. So-called white-collar jobs, jobs in healthcare, care and other social services, and green jobs, jobs in energy, water and waste management, construction, transport, industry, agriculture and forestry, where the needs and the opportunities for the work will be available at the bigger. Special mention should be made of professions related to energy efficiency and renewable energy sources. Further development of the information and communication technology sector is also expected through the diffusion of ICT and nanotechnology. In example, further specialization of exciting jobs in paid sectors. Here are some long-term trends given by structural changes and general strategies. Firstly, we'll have white jobs in healthcare, care and other social services. Green jobs related to the environment, energy efficiency and coping with the climate change. Jobs in line with national and European development strategies. Programs and competences corresponding to selected smart specialization sectors, in example, specialized occupation in tourism. Chapter 3. Measures to encourage employment. From the very beginning, the European Union dealt with the issue of employment and encouraged programs with the goal of the achieving full employment, which is why employers and job seekers, especially for members of so-called earlier groups, through various financing instruments. Since entering the new decade, the Commission proposes new and more ambitious goals for employment, skills and social protection in order to build a strong social Europe by 2030. Although responsibility for employment policy rests primarily with national governments, EU laws applies in certain areas. Find out which measures you can use to improve your status on the labor market in your country. Chapter 4. EURES. EURES is a European network for the cooperation of employment services in partnership with the European Commission, countries of European Economic Area, plus Switzerland, which was launched in 1994 to facilitate mobility, that is, spatial and professional mobility of the workforce on the European labor market. Since its launch, the network has been working tirelessly to ensure equal opportunities for European citizens despite language barriers, cultural differences, bureaucratic challenges, differences in labor, law, and insufficient recognition. For this reason, the network is available in all languages spoken in the countries of the European Union. The site statistics show that more than 5,000 employers from different countries have posted over 3.9 million job vacancies. In addition to information on job vacancies, the EURES site is also useful because it provides opportunities for self-information about the possibilities of work, and the European Economic Area, about the specific of the labor market in member countries, for example, how to prepare for applying for tenders in each member country because each labor market has its specifics. From the application method which resume format is accepted, what is considered desirable behavior. Also, on this page, it is possible to find statistical information about which occupations are considered to be in short supply. On the EURES portal, with the help of the search tool, as well as the network of EURES advisors who are ready to help you, you can find relevant information. on worker mobility, information related to jobs. Register a free user account and create your CV that will be visible to all URI's registered employers and URI's advisor who help employers find the best candidates. Chapter 5. Online Job Search. Today, published jobs offers can be found on notice boards, in newspapers, and on the internet. Today, more and more employers are using this opportunity to publish job offers online. Again, as with email communication, the advantages are numerous. The competition is immediately visible on the internet. There is no need for administration that can last for a few days. The cost of publishing the competition does not exist for the website of the employment agency. Its publication on the internet is considered public and serves as one step in the pre-selection. Again, it is about your willingness to use modern technology. Here are some useful links to job search portals. EURES is the European Network for the Services Cooperation of Employment. eac.europa.eu. For the Slovenia, www.ess.gov.se. For the Czech Republic, www.uradprase.cz. For the Poland, www.prasuj.pl. For the Croatia, burzarada.hzz.hr. Find out is there any other online job searching portals in your country. In addition to responding to ads published in the daily press or on the internet, it is advisable to send applications and CVs to employers who you assume may currently or soon need employees of your profile. You can get information and opportunities related to this on the official website of the selected company, following the tenders published by the company, as well as news and novelties from the field of interest, new technological developments, signing contracts with other companies for business expansions, introduction of new work process, etc. Using this information, you will get an impression of whether and how likely it is that there will be a need for new employees within the company or sector. Also, you can offer yourself to the employer as a potential employee, regardless of whether the employer has published a vacancy or not. In this case, we say that you are submitting an open request. In this case too, you attach your resume, it is your personal worker card and with it an open application. Today, this way of looking for a job is completely acceptable, even desirable. You can send open requests by post or email, but you can also leave them in direct contact with the employer. All of these behaviors, when looking for a job, leave an impression about you with a potential employer. It says you're proactive. A proactive person does not wait for what they want or need to fall from the sky. They will act purposefully and take actions to make what they want to happen. And they will take responsibility for their decision, avoiding the pitfalls of thinking that someone else is to blame if something goes wrong. In contrast to above, a reactive person mostly lives by default. This means that they wait for what they want to happen by itself. Life is simply carries them, buries them with events, and they spend time and energy trying to avoid the unwanted instead of proactively causing the desired. The very choice of words that a person utters, which many people do not pay attention to, shows us whether they are proactive or reactive person. A proactive expression can be recognized by the words I can, I want, and I need. Reactive people, on the other hand, often use phrases like I can't, if only I could, I'm just like that, and I have to, as if someone is imposing everything on them as if they don't lead their own lives. Proactivity means taking initiative, but also responsibility for own life. At the same time, one should work on what a person has under control. Proactive people are aware that they choose their own reactions or actions and behavior about the challenge in front of them. And they are both responsible for what happens to them because they have a choice. Chapter 6: Electronic Communication in Job Search. Email or electronic mail is a message that is created in electronic form and transmitted via computer network. It is used in private and business communication, primarily due to its simplicity and speed of use. To use email, all you need is to own email address, which is free. The electronic device, which can be a smartphone, computer, laptop, or any device with an internet connection. Email address of the recipient of the message. When we talk about email, and applying for employment by email is increasingly common choice for employers. Why is that? Here are some of the advantages of email. The first advantage of email is definitely speed. The email is at the destination within a few minutes after you sent it. Another one of the advantage is low or even no cost of sending it. It is free for both the employer and the employee. Another advantage of email is the first step in the selection process. Emails show your willingness to use modern technology, which may be important to the employer in the work field that they will hire. When we use an email to apply for a competition or in general for communication with an employer, we must take care that it is a business communication and therefore follow all the same rules. When writing an email, you should know that each message consists of a header, which consists of the information of recipient and subject, a message or a body, which consists of its content. Almost every message consists of the following items: the address of the recipient of the message or to, the address of the recipient of the copy of the message. If we send a message to someone who is not directly related to the content of the message but needs to know that the message has been sent, we use CC. The address of recipient of the blind copy of the message. The recipient who will remain invisible to those entered in the previous two fields, or BCC. Short and clear message title or subject. Message content. Attachment or more of them, attachments. Various documents that are sent by email when it comes to applying for a competition. These are CVs, application, and the other documents if the employer has requested them. In the body of the message, write the content, that is, why you are contacting the employer, where you must make sure that it sounds professional and that it is written grammatically and spelled correctly. For example, you can write the following text. Dear, I am applying for the job vacancy, and you name the job vacancy, and I am submitting the necessary documents in the attachment. With regards, your name. Specify which one, your first and your last name. When it comes to the request itself, you can write it in the text of the email, but it is less recommended. The body of the email should contain a short and written text explaining the purpose of your email and which documents you are sending as an attachment. So, if you are writing an email to an employer to apply for a job vacancy and you want to attach your application and resume to that email, then you just write. In the body of the email, it is not necessary to present yourself and your skills. Employee, because you have already written all that information in the application. It is better to attach it as an attachment. Always add attachments in PDF format or docx formats. We have already said that electronic communication by email is business communication, and all the same rules apply to this situation, including business communication etiquette. This means that the following things should be taken into account. When writing emails, use a simple but professional vocabulary. Concisely convey messages. Briefly and clearly say why you are contacting the employer and what you are submitting in the attachment. Write messages without evasiveness and justifying why you are responding via email. Make sure that the text you wrote is grammatically and spellingly correct. Use a simple font without additional text formatting. Add the attachments in PDF format or docx format and indicate what each of the attachment is. In example, state that it is a resume, application, diploma. It would be good if you name each of the documents first name, last name, and document name. Very important thing is not to write in capital letters. Do not include someone else's message or attachment without permission in the transmission of the information. Do not use email to discuss confidential information. Use a coherent email title, application for the working position competition, for example. It is also very important to notice that your email address represents you just as much as your application and resume do. A simple, professional, and serious email address will make the best impression on a potential employer. The important thing to remember is that a frivolous and unprofessional email address will leave an even more intense negative impression about you than a serious and professional one will leave as a positive one. Think about what you would think of a person you don't know and you receive their email from the address donald.duck@gmail. If your current email address is not serious, you can always open a new, more serious email address that you will use for professional purposes. If you find yourself in a competition with many other candidates for a job, every little thing can weigh in on your favor or someone else's, including your email address. We recommend that you use your first and last name or first and last name or last name and number of your professional email address, which is already available on the server you choose. Chapter 7. How to protect yourself in the online job search. Online scams are very common these days, so it is important to be especially careful when searching for competitions and applying. Namely, the official website of mediation agencies and the employment offices in all countries have the function of checking the employers themselves. However, it can always happen that fake job offers are published. This is primarily possible through online channels that are not official from these institutions. Today, there are also online tools that can help you recognize fraud. Enter the name of the company and/or person posing as a contact and the word scam in the search engine and study the results. You can also use some of the websites dealing with fraud such as Scam Warners, Fact Checks, Scambook, and similar. Below, we will list some of the most important tips. You can recognize real employers, but also fake job offers and other forms of fraud. And we start with a list of questions you should ask yourself. If you receive an email, it is important to ask yourself, do you know the sender? Did you initiate the contact yourself? In example, by signing up to receive email address. If you haven't heard of the company, do your research. Look at their website and as well independent sources such as reviews and newspaper articles. If the message claims to be from the employer, was it sent from their official domain? Some scammers misuse the names of the reputable companies, government institutions, or the URIs network by creating fake, misleading addresses or domain names. Always double check them, including that they are spelled correctly. Another question is, did you see the information on social networks? Are they from official channels? Always use your username and logo. Information that is published on an employer's social networks will certainly be on their website if it's true. Check twice before the action itself. Here are some common mistakes you should avoid. Never respond to a job offer that asks for money to be forwarded or sent, or where the company makes unfounded claims that it can open a bank account, get a tax identification number, transfer funds, etc. During the recruitment process, never enter financial information into online forms. No serious business will initially ask you for your bank account or credit details. Also, never call a phone number sent to you by email until you have checked whether it is regular number or an expensive special rate number, which is also can be case of a scam. Sometimes intermediaries offer help with employment, especially abroad, in exchange for certain sums of money, which they justify by the need to obtain a work permit, medical certificate, insurance, or the like. Most often, after the payment of the requested amount, the contact person no longer answers. As a rule, offers where the client is asked for money in advance are not real offers for employment. Chapter 8: Conclusion. In the end, it is important to say that electronic communication in the search for employment does not have to refer only to the active communication by which you send the employer an email or a message via form on their internet pages. After receiving your resume, many employers and general specialists in charge of recruitment, selection, and interviewing candidates will check what they can find about you online. Therefore, pay attention to information that is publicly available by your social network profiles, which is Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc., and your profiles on job search networks, Burza Rada, Moj Posao, or LinkedIn. Every piece of information that an employer can find about you sends a certain message about your activities and interests or the professional processes in which you have been involved. Therefore, carefully check the information that can be found about you on the internet. Be careful what you publish, like, comment, or repost, but also what sources of information about competitions you use. The end. Thank you for listening to this course. If you feel like you learned everything, please solve the final test.